Hello and welcome to the No Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Patrick McDonald, with me co-host Sheldon Kaufman. Today we're giving more playoff thoughts. Since our last episode, the playoffs have started. There have been 2 to 3 games in each series, I believe, unless I'm missing something. Uh, I mean, do we have a trivia question today, Sheldon? I guess I didn't ask you before.
Yeah, I got you. I got you with one. This one is just something that I saw something on Instagram that reminded me of this. So what player what Los Angeles Lakers player at the time famously wore a ankle monitor while playing for violating his probation?
Wait. Okay. If you wouldn't have said Los Angeles Laker, I don't think I would have got it. It was It was KCP for like a Detroit case, right?
Wow. Damn, Pat. Yeah, it was KCP. KCP. I think
Yeah.
I looked it up the other day. I think it was probate. It was because he violated his probation. Um,
Yeah, on like something he did when he was still in Detroit. Like, I don't know, probably a traffic violation. But
yeah. Let's see. Oh no, he was. It was a DUI suspicion.
oh, so like, yeah, he swerved the lane. Oh well.
Hey, I'm a. Oh no, let me stop. I'm
Yeah,
just.
yeah. Lamelo really was, or Leangelo was really copying KCP.
I
If you
saw
think about it,
D'Angelo's on the XXL freshman list, which is just so crazy. Something like that's just insane.
what a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive.
Um, I guess that's a different artist, but yeah, I guess where do we want to start for this recap? I guess is what it is.
I guess we could start a lot of places. We'll start in Los Angeles though, Pat. I think that series, that first game was shocking, right? You have the Timberwolves win by 22 points, and we're honestly just lights out from the 3 point line. Um, I mean, Julius Randle was 4 for 6, but Jalen McDaniels had an incredible game. He had 25 points, perfect from 3 point line for three threes. And also did his thing. Nas Reed was very good. Yeah, and the Lakers just, I mean, Luka did really well. LeBron did well, but just everyone around him, shots weren't falling. A lot of things weren't going right. But then you look at the game 2 days ago, 3 days ago, and they really did good against the Timberwolves. They controlled the game throughout most of it. They were leading at halftime by a large margin. The Timberwolves cut it a little bit close down near the end of the game. But what were your overall thoughts, Pat?
So in the preview episode, I think we both were leaning Lakers like somewhat heavily, and I think the comment that really summed up how we felt about it is I think I said this series will be decided by how Jaden McDaniels shoots from the 3 point line. Um, and I was very concerned about just the overall offense in Minnesota and what it could look like. And then game one happens, and like I think they shot 60% from three for like the entire first 3 quarters of the game, and I was like, well, you know, I don't really think this is going to continue. I think there was a right at the start of the fourth quarter, there's an interview with JJ Redick. He was like, "This is nothing schematic that we're doing wrong. We're just not playing hard enough, and um, you know, we just need to be smarter with our rotations." And I was like, "Yeah, you know, a lot of the threes were wide open and very easy. I think if they make it a little bit harder on the Timberwolves, where it's like, they have to take an extra dribble or they have to make an extra pass, because I don't really know how many guys they have that can do that. I think that's when it gets a little bit difficult, and it was a little bit more difficult in game two. In game two, their adjustment was a little bit more based on how they did it with Anthony Edwards, because like in game one, like they kind of just, I mean, in game two too, like the primary defender for a lot of the time was Austin Reeves and Edwards, and it's like the Lakers really don't have a good option in their starting lineup to guard Edwards. So instead, they just like try to make it to where he can't catch the ball. Because before in game one, they were like, all right, well, I mean, if you have the ball, we'll let you get to the rim because we're just going to double you. Um, and they made slight adjustments. They made it a little bit harder on the Timberwolves to where they weren't getting the easiest 3-point looks of all time. And I still feel pretty confident about Lakers in the series. I think what I saw in game two was the adjustments that I needed to see to say that the Lakers are going to definitely, in my opinion, have enough to pull this one out. Now I'm interested in what you have to say.
No, yeah, I agree 100%. I think that offensive performance was just unreal. Like you said, they were shooting 60% from the three throughout the first three quarters. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, that's really the reason they won. Like every time the Lakers were cutting it, like chipping away at the lead a little bit, there'd be two big threes and down at the other end. And I think what you said about the Lakers not playing hard, we saw JJ Redick. It was last game when the Timberwolves were starting to make a little bit of a run. He like came out on the floor and was like cussing out the players, screaming at them, telling them to go. He went at Rui Hachimura, yelled at him, and then we saw Hachimura's rebounding efforts improve throughout the game. I think JJ Redick could be looked at for Coach of the Year this year, or I guess not a lot of it is for the playoffs, but I mean, this was a guy that was talked about as one of the worst coaches in the league for like a week at the beginning of the season, and he was getting a lot of flack from the media. But I mean, he's looking like probably the next great coach. And he's really he really has the locker room. He's motivating the guys. He has the stars. I think that maybe the Timberwolves win one more off of a crazy shooting night, maybe. But I have full confidence that the Lakers will still take the series.
I definitely agree. One thing to monitor in this series, um, what do you think Rudy Gobert's minutes per game has been through the first two games?
20,
It's been 20, like 26. He
26.
played 29 in game two, 23 in game one. He's kind of been neutralized just by the fact that the Lakers like kind of don't get to the rim that often anyway. Um, and on the like, Jackson Hayes plays 20 minutes a game, and he's the only big for the Lakers. So Gobert just kind of doesn't seem very necessary, and they look a lot better with Reed out there because they need the extra space. Because the way the Lakers are going to be able to stop Anthony Edwards' drives is by sending a ton of help. So the Timberwolves want the maximum amount of spacing out there. So I think in this type of a matchup, maybe they roll with a little bit less Gobert like they have been doing. I think midway through game one, the Lakers were actually up. And then from that point on, Gobert barely played. Um, it was probably like the end of the start of the second quarter. They barely played Gobert from that point on. So yeah, I mean, I would just say that it's something to monitor. I don't really think it's an indictment on Gobert. I think this is just a matchup where like you kind of don't need rim protection right now because like even like LeBron hasn't been getting to the rim as much in this series really at all. So I think I mean you seem pretty unchanged that like I'm gonna say Lakers until like I see something from the Timberwolves that the Lakers like literally have no options for. And I think the game one barrage is tough, and if it happens again, like the Timberwolves are gonna win. But I think those are the conditions that the Timberwolves need to have to happen to win. Because also in that game one, like the Lakers were not good offensively, and that was leading to more transition threes from Minnesota. I don't think they missed a transition three in game one. So and then even in game one as well, I think they had a good bit of offensive rebounds that like bounce right back out to shooters. So like I don't know if that type of a thing will happen again because like some offensive rebounding is obviously intensity and effort, but then like if it hits the front of the rim um, and bounces like right back to the shooter, I don't know how much the Lakers can do about that. So
Yeah.
where do we want to go next? Do we want to stay in Los Angeles?
Yeah, sure. Let's stay in Los Angeles.
Um, so there were two close games in this series, and then there's a not close one. Um, Which one of the close one? I mean, we can talk about both of them. So I'll let you decide where you want to start on this series.
Um, yeah, we can start. We can start with the first one. Uh, Clippers got the early lead. And then we saw Nuggets. Nuggets came in, made it really close. It was a close game throughout the game. Every time I looked at the score, it was like a 1 point game, 3 point game. And this has definitely been one of the lower scoring game series throughout the playoffs. I think they really barely go over 100 each, or because of the overtime, um, they do go over 100. So the defense has definitely shown out for the Clippers this series. Kawhi has been incredible. Chris Dunn has been playing really good defense. He's also been scoring a little bit as well, which is good to see. Yeah, James Harden is just really good in the playoffs. I mean, first game he had 32 and 11. Uh, Zubac had 21. Kawhi had 22. Um, but yeah, Jokic and Murray's definitely been taking over in the fourth quarter like he usually does. Even though maybe the first half he's kind of slacking, he always usually picks it up. But yeah, Nuggets were able to get the win in OT. Yeah, I didn't get to watch much of the first game, but
Yeah, I mean the first game was great. That whole first day of games was pretty great. The Nuggets, that game down the stretch of the game, they benched Michael Porter Jr. for Russell Westbrook. I think that's like kind of the main takeaway for me. Westbrook hit a couple threes. He committed a crazy turnover at the end of the fourth quarter, and then he could like made the game-winning play on an inbounds play and forced it off of James Harden. Like it was the Russell Westbrook experience in game one, and I just gotta say, like I think you were probably a little bit higher than me on what Westbrook was going to bring to the Nuggets this year, and like it didn't look like any prior version, except a little bit like what he was doing on the Clippers. But like, yeah, I think it's even more intensified than that. Like his effort and his just awareness defensively just looks as good as it ever has been. And I really wish he would have played like this his whole career. Like, because if he had his peak athleticism like he did back in the day, playing the way he is now, I mean, it would have been a great player. And game two, what ends up happening is I think Denver tightened some things up defensively, and Kawhi Leonard missed 4 shots. And at that point in the series, and I have to admit, when I was wrong, I was like, you know what? I really don't know how good I feel about the Clippers' chances if like they barely sneak out a win with Kawhi Leonard making all these difficult shots and them not generating as many good shots. And then they blow him out in game three, and I just, there's so much to unpack here. Like pre 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 playoffs, there we go. You and I both felt like it was Denver, but we felt like this was probably, at least I did. I felt like this was the series where like I could see the other team winning a lot more likely. Because I at least I know I didn't predict any upsets. I'm pretty sure you didn't either. Correct?
yeah, I think I said Clippers could make it. I said the
Yeah.
Clippers. I think I was more on the Clippers side, but
Okay.
um,
I think that's right.
I probably said Nuggets. I don't know. I think I was leaning Clippers though, happily. I just yeah, and also like that second game was so good because it was just like they were just trading clutch shots, like bucket after bucket. And then Christian Braun had the game tying three, and that miss was just I was happy, but it was just crazy. It was just a crazy game. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I mean Kawhi, I mean he's been insane in the playoffs. He had 39 that game, and like you said, he's making all these crazy shots, but he's making them, right? Even if he's taking them. So I mean that, along with their defense and what James Harden can do with the ball, playmaking wise, this is a really solid Clippers team, and especially what we saw in that blowout, uh, in Intuit Dome, and that makes them two. They win two
2-1
games, 2-0 or no 1-0 and Intuit. Was the second game? Second game was at
Denver.
yeah, so I mean, Honestly, I think that the Clippers are going to win at home again. So you're going to go back to the Nuggets, but go back to Denver down 3-1. This is going to be interesting. I think Jokic and Murray have really been carrying the squad. I think Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. haven't really, or at least last game, the last two games especially, they haven't been stepping up. They've been missing a lot of shots. They've been very inefficient, especially from the 3 point line. So, I mean, if Denver wants to have a chance, those guys are definitely going to have to show up to play because you know what you're going to get from Jokic, you know what you're going to get from Murray, but what are you going to get from these role players? And you need these role players to step up to beat this Clippers team because this Clippers team is so good defensively and they're also pretty deep.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the biggest thing too is like the best individual defender under Kawhi this series has been Peyton Watson, and like for offensive purposes, it's like really hard to get him on the floor. Um, I think Gordon's been fine, but like I think Watson's been like the only guy who's really performed. I think he's been pretty good the whole time. So um, Porter Jr. I think had a poor game one and three, and like was good in game two, but then had um, like a little shoulder flare up at the end of game two. It's just really weird. He ended up playing down the stretch of game two. Um, what do we think on this series now?
I mean, like I said, they're coming. I think they're gonna win tomorrow or Saturday. So yeah, tomorrow. I think they're gonna win tomorrow, and I think they're gonna at least win one of those games in Denver. Um, I mean, it might go six. It might go. I don't think it'll go seven though.
Yeah,
I
I
mean, yeah, I think it'll go five or six.
yeah I
Clippers
feel
in five
pretty
or six.
I feel pretty good about Clippers winning suddenly. Um, and like I was definitely leading Denver going into the series, so I would say that they're gonna play game four and six at Intuit, and like your two home games, they only need to win two. I think the Denver home court advantage is kind of a real thing. So for them, if you can win game four, I kind of do like your chances because typically I don't I know I haven't I could back this up with like just looking, but I think teams perform better in the second games of the because the format
Of the
for a
back to
playoff.
back, like the game one and two at home.
Hmm. Exactly, because they adjust the altitude after the first game, so I think having it be home away home for the last three games could do Denver some favors if they can steal a game and into it. So um, that's the only reason I'm not counting them out just yet. But I would say, as I currently stands, I'm leaning the Clippers will take this series, and it'll be a loss on my predictions for pre-playoffs if that does happen. So um, I guess I have this question because it relates a ton to this series because the Thunder, they've had a pretty uneventful series against the Grizzlies. It's been pretty much Thunder all the way, besides the first half of game three. Um, I think you're muted.
Which they still lost.
Yeah.
The Grizzlies.
The 30-point lead just wasn't safe enough for the Oklahoma City Thunder. How do we feel about the chances of either of these two teams in a second round matchup now against OKC? Now that we've seen them play three playoff games.
It's gonna be hard. Uh, it's gonna be hard, but I'm liking the Clippers right now, Pat. But I think Shea hasn't really been having to do too much, right? Game one he only had 15. Let's see. Okay, game two he had 30. So never mind. But this Thunder team is just so complete. Like if Shea's not scoring, you can have Jay Will pop off for some points. You can have Chet Holmgren get points. You can have Aaron Wiggins get points. Um, this team is also really good defensively. So it's going to be hard. I think the Clippers, I mean, they have. the thing is, like, they could neutralize them. Like Chris Dunn could get on Shea. I mean, would Kawhi get on Chet? I feel like Kawhi would be on Chet, and then Zoo on Hardenstein. Um, I think their defense is good. I think they have a serious chance to compete. I want to say Clippers just because I just want to ride the dark horse train that I said at the beginning of the playoffs. But I think I think the Thunder still have a shot. But I think I like the Clippers' chances against this team more than I like the Nuggets' chances against this team. Um, just because their defense is a lot better, uh, and just the Nuggets don't really have that.
Yeah, I just don't see how the Nuggets could muddy up a series against the Thunder, and I think the Clippers could do like a really good job of that. Um, I think they could do enough to like get Kawhi in enough spots to where like they space the floor enough, and Kawhi will hit enough tough shots. It's just like I think they really need to just like completely stop Shea to win that series. And I don't think it will happen, but if one of these teams is going to make a tough series against OKC, I think it would be the Clippers. From what I've seen from the Nuggets, like if you know they really struggled with the Zubac Harden pick and roll in Game 1, and I don't want to know what that looks like with Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and anybody setting a screen. I just don't think it would be any good. So I would say that Denver could win the current series, but I don't think that a second round win would really be possible for them. I really don't have a high belief in the Clippers winning a second round series, but I think there's a little bit more of a blueprint there for them. Just for the viewers, I've agreed to let Sheldon have his fantasy punishment void if did you predict the winner or just the two teams to go?
Clippers, Cavs, Clippers, Cavs.
No winner though, right?
No winner. I'll
Okay.
make my winner prediction at the time. I'd
Okay.
probably go Cavs though. I'll make a prediction. I'll go Cavs.
Okay. So if the Cavs beat the Clippers in the NBA Finals, then the G League tryout will be null.
And I will
Um,
buy a Kawhi Leonard. I will buy the full 5 team roster from the Clippers in jerseys.
gonna pull up in the Visa Zubac jersey. It's crazy. Um, okay. Yeah. I like that. All right. Where do we want to go? Where do we want to jump to next?
Let's say in the West because I think there's some pretty big news that happened. So game
Yep.
one, you loved Rockets, right? I was on the Rockets as well. Game one, and then the Warriors just kind of came up there and just punched them right in the mouth, right, and won by 10 points. Curry and Butler were amazing. Butler just looked really well, really good. Pods helped as well. I mean, they got a couple scoring buckets here from there, but I mean, just really good stuff from Butler and Curry. Um, yeah, I mean they were just able to get the job done against the Rockets team, and Van Vliet really struggled in that first game. He shot 21% from the field, 2 for 13 from three. Uh, Jalen Green also did not shoot well at all, and this is their backcourt, or yeah, this is their backcourt, and he shot 3 for 15 from three, 20% from the field. And this is what we talked, or not we talked about, but you talked about a lot. You've been talking about it the whole series is Jalen Green's efficiency. I kind of had some worries about Fred VanVleet in this coming into this because I think that throughout the season he's kind of shown some struggles as well. But like you predicted, Jalen Green is really kind of hurting this Rockets team, especially in that first game. And second game he did really well. It's the Jalen Green effect, right? But
Yeah.
for him against us throughout a 7 game series, do I think he can be consistent? No, I have no faith in that. But I think the Warriors really showed me something that first game where I kind of shifted to like, oh, maybe the Warriors have this, right? But then Jimmy Butler goes out. I forgot what quarter it was, but he goes out with the injury, and it completely changes the game. And they lose. They lose by 15. His status is in question for Game 3. Pat, I'm a little worried now about the Warriors. What are your thoughts about this? Because I think with Butler, this is the Warriors have a serious chance.
Yeah, I think that with Butler, I completely see the argument to where the Warriors could win the series. It's just I still felt like the Rockets matched up with them very well. Game one was like awesome. There was like a bunch of like stretches. I think there was one or two from each team where like they didn't score a field goal for like 4 minutes. And then like it would be like a Steph Curry dagger or like Alperen Sengun, like just disgusting looking post touch that just ends up going in because he'll make the shot. Um, I think the really fun thing is like the Rockets lineups in this series is just like it's so like fun to just like look at the game and see who's playing because sometimes it'll be like Jabari Smith Jr. will be playing the five to take away some of this switch hunting that they like to do with Steph Curry, or not switch hunting, but like attacking Şengün, and ball screens. And then sometimes Jabari Smith Jr. is playing the three with Steven Adams and Alperen Şengün next to him, and I think it's just the amount of different things that the Rockets are doing out there is just like really exciting. And I don't know how much of it is good because I think a lot of it's like we kind of have to do this, otherwise we don't have our offensive rebounding advantage, and the Warriors will just be able to run through us all the time with having to guard ball screens with Şengün. But on like the Jalen Green aspect of it, I thought in game two he looked great. Like, not just with his scoring, because obviously his scoring was better, but like the first like quarter of the game, I was sitting there, I was like, okay, so he's playing a little bit harder on defense because he had a couple possessions on Curry at the start of the game that looked pretty good. And then his decisiveness passing the ball was like it literally went from like a blind player, like a player with tunnel vision, to like, oh my god, this guy's been playing in the playoffs for 6 years. Um, it just night to night was so much different. I think if he had the same shooting night that he had in game one and game two, I think the Rockets still probably would have won just because of the improvement in his decision making, and defensive effort. I still, especially with Butler out, like I do think this is a Rockets win series. Um, it doesn't, to me at least, I don't think that the Warriors necessarily have enough without Butler out there because I don't know, sometimes the lineups look kind of rough, especially with their non-Curry offense just kind of being Butler going at whoever your weakest defender is out there. So, you got anything else that you really want to point out too?
No, I think I agree. I think I'm going. I think if Butler is playing like I said, I think I like the Warriors, but without them, I don't see them doing this. And how about Albert Sengun for his first points of the playoffs, posterizing uh Draymond Green? That was pretty crazy.
Yeah. Um, Rockets offense, I think, has looked decent as well. Like it was really rough in game one, but like when your starting guards don't make a single shot, like obviously it's gonna look pretty rough. But I think a lot of the time they did generate like pretty decent looks. Um, I think, and this has been something that they've done since he's moved to the starting lineup. Like Amen Thompson, just like they never give him the ball in like creation situations, and they did it a lot more in his rookie season. And I think it's something that like would would really help them because he's a good enough passer to operate out of those situations. Right now, he's just kind of operating as like this cutter. Um, and I don't know. I think they can unlock a good bit offensively by getting him downhill with the ball in his hands. Um, but it's just not something they've done this year, so I don't know if they're gonna audible to that. So I think I'm pretty certain with Rockets right now because I think they announced that Butler's out for Game 3. Um,
I didn't know it
and
was official. I just thought it was up in the air. Like I thought, but it was like doubtful. But yeah,
yeah,
that's not good news.
yeah. So I think with Butler out for Game 3, like there's a very good chance that the Rockets take that game. And I like how they've what they've shown so far. The first two games. I mean, game two was pretty decisive. It ended up being like a 15-point game, but they were up like 30, not 30, but like 20, 22, pretty late into that game. So, yeah. Where else do we go? Which series do we go to next? There we go. That's a much better question.
Let's go to the Knicks Detroit series, Pat. Do you wanna start giving your
I
thoughts
think I
on that
have.
one?
Yeah, I think I have to obviously say I have a hand in the fight here, but I mean, the
Yes,
first
that's
three
true.
games of the series have been like kind of great, like great basketball.
Yeah.
I think first two games like uh, Knicks looks like a little unorganized offensively. Um, it seemed like Pistons were playing a very physical game. Knicks kind of didn't respond well to that physicality in game three. Their offense looked a lot better, adjustment wise. And I mean, I think that if we would have made this episode a day ago, I would have been a little bit more concerned. But I think I saw a lot of the adjustments I wanted to see in game three. Um, uh, to say that I'm still very confident in the Knicks winning this series. So we can get a little bit more in depth to it. I just want to know how you feel about it right now.
Yeah. That first game was a good one. 21-0 run is crazy. Or was it more than that, Pat? Or was it 21?
That sounds
21-0.
right.
21-0 run. The Pistons they were up like really big at that point in the game. They took over in the second half, or really just the third quarter, I guess. Cade Cunningham has looked really good. He had a double double in that first game, 21 and 12. Um, 32 the second game, and then how many did he have last night? I didn't see, but um, 24 and 11 again. So he's made a very nice playoff debut. I think Tim Hardaway Jr. has been shooting the ball well for them. Jalen Duren has been playing good center minutes for him. But yeah, the first game or the second game, that loss, I think. I mean, Miles Bridges or Mikal Bridges was missing a lot of shots. I think he shot like 3 for 11 from the 3 point line. He was shooting a lot of shots. I was just like, what? Why the hell are you shooting that? Um, I think if there was I think y'all were down six, and it was like kind of a fast break opportunity. And like as soon as he got the ball, he turned around and shot a just absolutely brick. And then Cat was kind of neutralized those first two games offensively. I think Jalen Duran did a good job, and also they just weren't giving him a lot of opportunities to catch and shoot the three ball. And last night we saw that really open up for Cat. Um, he had 31 and he shot 4 for 8 from the three. I think he went 3 for 3 in the first quarter though, for the 3 point line. So
Sounds
he,
right.
yeah, he set the game off to a great tone. And so yeah, those were kind of my thoughts on the series. I mean, it feels like Knicks. It always feels like Knicks, but there's just always something happens for them that goes wrong. Whether it's someone has an off night shooting, uh, they're not getting calls where they really should be. I thought that second game they didn't get a lot of calls, which I was surprised at because they were at the Garden. I was very shocked. But I was, and then Pat, what were your thoughts on that backcourt there? The last 6 seconds, it looked at first glance, it looked like he caught it while crossing the line, but I saw a little frame by frame. It was a little interesting. But what were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I want to point out first that I was not the one who brought up the Knicks not getting calls,
No,
but I think it's telling that it happened.
yeah, it was crazy. But yeah,
In in the game two specifically, it was like the Pistons were like kind of just holding and grabbing the whole first three quarters, and it was like kind of infuriating because like some of it is definitely just good playoff defense, and then some of it's like kind of like what are we doing? We kind of got to call that. And then there was like a clear path foul called on Brunson that they went to like review on. And then from like the 6:30 point in the third quarter on, like the refs were like, "Oh, all right, yeah, we kind of got to call those things." Um, and I think the Knicks went on like a 10-point run from that point on in the game. And I think the Pistons played pretty great that game, all things considered. In the half court or the backcourt violation, like watching it in real time, it looked like he didn't catch the ball like ever. It looked like he let it bounce behind him because it like was behind his body when he caught it. But then watching it in real time, I was like, all right, well, his foot's or like on the replay, I was like, well, his foot's on the half court line. So if a player is to step on the half court line, like let's say they had already gotten the ball and like they step on the baseline, like they're out of bounds.
Yeah.
So I feel like when he first collects the ball, his foot's on the half court line, so he can go onto either side. And I
Mm.
think the official came over to the broadcast, um, and said like, we allowed his momentum to take him into the backcourt, which I think is a good explanation, but it's also leaving out the key part that he established the ball touching the ball like on the half court line, so he can go on to either side if he wants to. If he would have been like a shoe back, like in the Kevin Durant situation, if he was a shoe
Yeah.
further back and he was in front of the half court line, his momentum wouldn't have carried him over. Is what I'm pretty sure. I think it was a pretty poor explanation
Yeah.
by the broadcast, because from that it makes it sound like somebody can catch the ball on their side of the floor, take 2 steps, but their momentum's taken that way. And
Yeah.
I just don't think that's what it was. I think it's because he caught the ball on the half court line, and since he's running that way, he can go that way. So, and then also, did you see like the last on the free throw too at the end? The clock started early, and the Pistons ended up getting an extra shot out of it, but then Duran threw the ball out of bounds. So you saw that as well.
I don't think I saw that one, but
It's like kind of crazy. Like no Piston touched the ball because they
uh,
wanted to call a timeout right away, so they wanted to catch it on the ground. But the scorekeeper or the clock keeper started the clock early, so then it was an inadvertent whistle, and the Pistons had the full 5 seconds. And like in the post game interview, Towns was like, "Shout out to the Pistons scorekeeper. I've
I
never
saw
seen that."
that. Yeah, I saw that.
He's like, "I've
You
never
never
seen them
know.
getting an extra shot for the team." But
Yeah.
in the playoffs, they do use uh
Neutral.
neutral site scorekeepers or
Yeah.
timekeepers. So I mean, I don't think it was crazy. I think it's just human error. Uh, I don't know. I don't think the officiating has had enough of effect on the series for me to blame it. I think in the game too, like I do think the
I
Knicks were
think
getting
game
hurt.
two was crazy. I thought game two, like it it was I was just like it was just like a lot of no calls. And I felt like the Pistons were getting a lot of foul call, like a lot of and one opportunities. Or if they missed a shot, they would call it. Or there was a lot of late whistles too, for the Pistons. So I thought that was interesting. And I thought Ben Thompson fouled out at game two, right? Yeah. That was he was being very aggressive. But they still ended up winning, so that was interesting. But yeah, I feel like the Pistons just don't know. Like, is Tim Hardaway going to give you 20 points every night? Uh, and then like if he doesn't, you have to rely on Malik Beasley having a good shooting night. And then Tobias Harris really hasn't been that like
He's been terrible.
yeah, he hasn't been doing anything this series. So if he's not doing good and you're relying on like two really streaky shooters, it's hard, especially when the Knicks have everybody. I think I think I think it's a little interesting. Campaign hasn't been getting more minutes. I think Campaign could get some more minutes after his game one performance. Uh, but yeah,
I like what Campaign gave us in game one, but it's like really hard to play him a lot if Brunson's can play 40 minutes. Because like then you kind of really only have 8 minutes to play Campaign. Um, because I don't really think you should ever play those guys at the same time. Like it's just kind of going to be bad defensively. Um, I think in the game too, like I think the amount of physicality that the Pistons were getting away with was kind of crazy, but like it's not like they were calling the Knicks for that type of physicality on the other end. The Knicks just weren't playing that type of defense. So they didn't even give the refs a chance to like let them get away with it. So I mean, obviously it affected the Knicks more than it did the Pistons, but I think that the Knicks should have at least made it given the refs a chance to be biased. Like I don't know. I think the Pistons were playing way more physically, and they got away with that physicality and until the 6 minute mark of the third quarter when I mean somebody did something, and then like I go, you go on Twitter after the game, and it's like everybody's saying the Knicks got all the calls because down the stretch of the fourth quarter, the Knicks got all their free throw attempts because they had 2 free throw attempts going into the fourth quarter, I'm pretty sure. So just ridiculous. I think it's been a great series. I'm still pretty confident from just because of what I saw. Looked like they used Cat a little bit different in game 2. They started really aggressive with him because they've been putting Tobias Harris on him and helping with Jalen Duren off of Josh Hart, and like I think they cleaned up a little bit of how they were doing post touches. Like I don't know why the hell Landry Shamet is cutting. Like what is he gonna do? He's just gonna get bottled up by a Jalen Duren block attempt. He's just getting bottled up. So they cleaned that up a little bit, and I mean the 3-point shooting is legit for Towns. If he just stands out there, like looks pretty good. You got anything else on this series? Best player in the series has been Jalen Brunson. It's kind of ridiculous anybody was having another take going into the series. I guess we can talk about some of the other ones because there are other series that we haven't talked about. I guess the other like kind of interesting one is Indiana Milwaukee. Do you have anything big takeaway wise from that series?
Damn. Yeah, you say kind of close. I think that's a very, very interesting point because I think when Dame came back, a lot of people were like, okay, like let's see what's about to happen now. But I mean, I think Indiana's just too good. Halliburton's really good. He's been called the most overrated player in the league. He responded with a double double, 21 and 12, or sorry, 21 and 12. And then he had 10 and 12 the first game. He's been dropping double doubles. He's been just really taking it back. I think he's been taking a back seat and just really been dishing the ball and letting Siakam just do his thing. Siakam has been incredible this series, and really just it's not one guy. I feel like for this Pacers team, I feel like everyone's scoring. You see multiple players with 10 points, multiple starters with 10 points. TJ McConnell has been doing really good at controlling pace of the game when he's in and just doing what he does. Giannis has been incredible. I mean, incredible. He had 34, 18, and 7 yesterday, and then 36 and 12 the game before. And Dame just didn't do that great, 30% from the field. And the big acquisition for the Bucks, Kyle Kuzma, is ass. He is very ass at basketball. Not at basketball, but just right now he's not. Yeah, he's ass. He had 12 points, and then the first game he had a whopping 0 points in 20 minutes. Also, the coaching is horrendous from the Bucks. I think Darvin Ham calling a play for Kyle Kuzma to open up the game is shocking in Game 2. After his performance in Game 1, I don't understand the logic there. But yeah, I think the Pacers have this. Milwaukee maybe wins 1 or 2, but I have full confidence in this Pacers team. Really, you said kind of close. I think this is like a series that's just it's over. I think Indiana's winning. I haven't been watching too much of it because I just don't feel a need to. I just feel like the Pacers already have it. That's just kind of my feeling towards it. What do you think?
I watched the game 1 live. I went back and watched a little bit of the game 2 like footage after the game was already done. Um, it just doesn't look like Milwaukee has, like, Giannis and Dame are great, but like I there's so many players on the Pacers, like you said, it's like a team effort, but like, Halliburton's, I don't know, apparently he's the most overrated player in the league, but he plays at a similar level to Damian Lillard, potentially even better. I think after you get through those three guys, Miles Turner, Pascal Siakam, Andrew Nembhard are by far the best players outside of those top three guys in the series. So Indiana's just so much better of the team, and I said this in the preview that I just don't think Milwaukee, especially with Dame out, I didn't think they were even like a good team. I think with Dame playing, I think they're an average team, and I think Milwaukee, like, they're a lot closer to the lower seeds in the East. I think Detroit and Indy are better than them, and I think Indiana's way better than them because I think Indiana's legit. I've said it all year. So
Yeah.
Like you said, a kind of close series, but I think it's Indy in 5. Let's see. Celtics are winning without Jason Tatum.
Jaylen Brown is great.
He put on his Jason Tatum impression in game 2.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown, very good, very great player. Porzingis played well. This is a 4-0 sweep.
Yep.
Yeah. Paulo actually stepped up though. He did step up. I think game 1, he didn't really. Oh wait, never mind. I'm lying. I was thinking about the playing game.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the playing game. Yeah, Paulo's had a good playoffs, but it's not going to be enough. This is a 4-0 sweep. I think this is a sweep. I think the Cavs are going to sweep as well. Mitchell and Garland and Mobley have been playing really well. And even Jared Allen has. Cleveland's just kind of there. Ty Jerome is going to be key, I think, in this Cavs run off the bench. Yeah, and do you agree with me, Pat, on this, on the Cavs? Like, do you think? I think the Cavs have this one.
I think they easily have it. I mean, there's not really too much to talk about. I think they greatly outclass Cleveland, or Miami talent-wise. I think schematically, it's really hard for Miami to be able to slow down what Cleveland does. And like, they can do some of the double big stuff that Cleveland does, but I think Cleveland does it better. And yeah, I just think Cleveland's by far a better team. And I guess this kind of leads to my last question. It's not necessarily related to the Cavs or the Celtics, but outside the Cavs, Celtics, and Thunder, what two teams do you think makes up the rest of the top 5 of playoff teams?
Outside Cavs, Celtics, Thunder. Okay. I'll go Lakers, Clippers, Indy, Knicks.
Yeah.
Wait.
I think.
Yeah. Rockets. Yeah. I like that. Or yeah. I'll stick with that. I think I like that.
I think my two that I would have said were Lakers and Indy. I think. I think.
Oh, was
outside
only
that,
supposed to say 2?
Yeah. You're only supposed to say 2.
Oh, my bad. Okay. Wait, let me say it again. Yeah, I'll go Lakers and Clippers.
Okay.
My bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say Lakers and Indy.
I heard 5, and I just named 5 teams. So.
Yeah, I think Lakers, Clippers, and Indy were like the 3 teams that I was kind of considering for the other like top 5 playoff teams. Yeah, I mean, do you have any other playoff thoughts? Because I do have one other thing that I'm going to spring upon you out of the blue.
No, no, I don't like that, Pat. Any other playoff thoughts? I don't know. I think this first round is there's been a couple good series, but I think we still gotta wait for these playoffs to really open up. Because I think right now it's just there's like three. I don't know if the Lakers and Wolves is a good series yet. We'll see. Because I don't know if that Minnesota game one was a fluke or not. But um, yeah. So I think, but now yeah, I think there's like two because now that Jimmy Butler's hurt, I just don't know what the Warriors can do. But I would say just from my kind of point of view, I think that we gotta wait. We still haven't seen the best of these playoffs yet. But we were getting a very good trailer with the the Nuggets and the Clippers and the Pistons and Knicks.
Yeah, I think those series are going to be really great. I think, um, even though I do feel very confident in the Knicks winning the series, I think it's still going to be kind of like a rock fight. Um, and every game's going to be pretty close in it. I think the Lakers, with the adjustments that they're going to make, I think they're going to like win the rest of the series pretty convincingly, even if they do drop a game, another game. Um, but I think Clippers and Nuggets and Knicks and Pistons are going to be like they're going to come down to the end of the game a bunch of times. Um, Here's what I have sprung ahead of you. I will share it right now on the screen. I promise you, it's not something too bad. Um,
It's
Here we are.
it's the Shannon Sharp tape.
Yeah, I've got the
MVP
first look.
finalist. Oh, those are my top three. That's why you got to follow this channel because we give since since like month two. These have been my top three finalists since we've been doing this.
Hmm.
Wow.
What we are doing now is we are filling out our own ballot. A couple of these awards have already been announced, but we don't know who won. We have completely forgotten for the sake of this exercise. Who
Okay.
is our most
Okay.
valuable player?
I gotta stick with Jokic. I've been sticking with them all year, so I gotta stick with Jokic. Um, for the reasons I said, triple double guy, really good passer. The Nuggets are not in this situation without him. He is literally doing all he can do out there in this series, and they're either barely winning or losing. Um, Shea had 15 and they won by 30 or 40. If Jokic had 15, uh, we would see like a Chris Paul type. We would have a lot of Chris Paul type moments with leads getting cut to 42. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna rock with Jokic. I do think Shea gets it though for sure.
Yeah, I think Jokic, for me as well, has been a little underwhelming this playoffs. But he's still been great. Um, I think he should, if I were to pick who's been the MVP for me, I think it would be Jokic, but I'm very confident with like the Mike Malone situation happening and how rough the Nuggets finished the season. Like I'm pretty sure voters are going to side with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander because the coach firing stuff and their defense being terrible was fresh in voter minds as they're filling out ballots. So I'm pretty sure Shai's going to get the award. Um, Giannis doing his normal thing, being an MVP finalist, but not necessarily being the MVP. Very, very normal Giannis stuff. I'm not sure how many of these there are. Rookie of the year. This is actually kind of a tough one for me. You can even go off of these top three finalists if there's anyone for you because it was like a really like weird race. But who do you think is rookie of the year?
I feel like Sar could have got a little nomination or finalist, but um, whatever. I'm gonna go Castle. I'm gonna go Stephon Castle. After Fox really went out, just seeing him play, and he really was good for them. Before Fox came there, uh, yeah, I tend to lean towards Stephon Castle.
Yeah, I would say Castle probably was the best rookie throughout the course of the season. Reached State finished like extremely well. His struggling like kind of, or his shooting kind of was like a real struggle for the first like 3 months of the year. And then he finished on the last 3 months of the year being pretty strong from as a shooter. So I mean, he was really awesome. One of the better Hawks players down the stretch of the year. I stopped doing the rookie players that I think are going to be good players ladder, but yeah, I'm sticking with Reach State Castle for sure on there. Alex Sarr was great this season. Jared McCain, you know,
Yeah, I think Jordan McCain wins this for sure. Like, I think he definitely had
yeah,
the highest offensive ceiling by any rookie. I don't think because what he was averaging like 12 or like 15 before he got hurt. I forget which, and I think
it
all
might have been
these
closer
guys
to
are around
18.
10 and 11. So, yeah, and he would have had a huge role, especially with Paul George being out for like hella long. Um, so yeah, is he like eligible for next year's Rookie of the Year award since he only played like,
Oh, I
or do
think he
they take
played.
that out after Ben Simmons?
I forgot who made them take it out. It wasn't Ben Simmons. Um,
Yes, it was.
Ben Simmons like
Not even
didn't play his first year. For me, those guys, Jared McCain, like, hey, pre-draft, they said he's better than Rob Dillingham by a lot, and he looks a lot better than Rob Dillingham so far. Uh, those three guys, I'm not out on Reed Shepard yet. Donovan Clingan, I think, would probably fill into the top five with Castle, Richey, Sarr, and McCain. I think those have been what I would say the five best rookies are. Um, I could 100% be forgetting about somebody. Shout out Jalen Wells. That injury was scary. Um, from another fellow rookie and uh, KJ Simpson, I believe, was the one who hurt him. So yeah, I mean, I think Ricochet or Castle, I would be fine with those guys winning. Although Wells was a starter on a decent Grizzlies team. This is this is the controversial one, I think. Dyson Daniels, Draymond Green, Evan Mobley. Who is your defensive player of the year?
I'm sticking with Mobley just because of his ability to guard all five. Because like Draymond played some like okay throughout the year. I think that Dyson Daniels was a better defender than Draymond. But like ever since Draymond, there was Draymond talks of getting DPOY. His defense like somehow got better. I felt like every time I watched a Warriors game, he was just clamping everyone up. Um, But I like Evan Mobley. I just like I said, he's just a really good defender and can defend multiple positions. He's very versatile. Um, I think he does more than just get steals. Like he has the ability to, you know, block. Um, he's a pretty good post defender, and he can do a little bit on the perimeter too. So I think I like the the DPOY for Mobley.
Yeah, yeah, I'm just always gonna side with Mobley. I think Draymond. I think he's going to win just because of um his own campaign.
He didn't. He
There,
didn't. He didn't
oh,
win.
he didn't. Oh yeah, the winner's right there. Oh,
Mobley won.
yeah, Mobley has now gained an extra like $40 million on his extension. I think Draymond was kind of like great. Uh, I think we talked about it in like the in season tournament stuff. I was like, when he wants to, he kind of looks like he's 27 still. It's just he didn't do it every every game. Uh, I think if he would have played at his like 90th percentile defense this season, like he wins DPOI like easily. But the lower percentiles of his performance were there. He got benched at points at a point this season. I would give it to Mobley. I mean, the Cavs have been just such a great defensive team. I think if the Thunder had a more like surefire candidate, I would really like a Thunder player. Um, but I feel like they were a very committee based defense. Most improved player. Go ahead.
Okay, I got you now. Yeah, most improved player. Man, this is tough. I'm going Zubac. I think Zubac for sure. I mean, I think he's catapulted himself to like a top five center, or at least top 10. Um, yeah, I just don't think the Zubac just came out of nowhere. I think I don't know. I just don't think I don't like Cade for MIP. I don't like it. I think I would take Daniels over Cade because I just think like from what Dyson Daniels went from to being this great defender and also averaging like 15 points per game. I think that's what he averaged. I'm not 100% sure, but I mean, yes, Cade is averaging crazy amount, and he's also doing really good assist wise numbers and rebounding. But I just think like Daniels and Zubac. No way you thought Zubac was gonna be. I mean, I know you had no like. You even said that Zubac wasn't like this crazy. I mean, it's like expected. A lot of people were thinking that as well. So I think that he's definitely the most improved. But yeah, that's yeah. I'm gonna go Zubac. Big Zoo.
My one of my breakout picks, and this, the one that I was most confident in going into the season, was Cade Cunningham, and I think the narrative around the Pistons and their improvement has led a lot of people to believe that Cade Cunningham has had like a massive improvement when he's been a little bit better, but I think a lot of that is just like last year they started Kevin Knox a lot. I'm really like Cade has been a little bit better than he was a year ago, but the amount that it was, I'm not really sure that it's too much better. My pick is definitely Zubats. Um, at the very start of the year, I was like, okay, I mean, this is just gonna wear off. 2 months into the year, and then I mean, he's legit, man. Like roll threat, post up threat on mismatches. He's really improved defensively as well. I mean, I would pick Ivica Zubac because I do think that it's like a legitimately big improvement from Ivica Zubac. Um, Daniels, um, I mean, I don't know how much I like any of the other candidates here. I think at points in time I would see like Evan Mobley love. Uh, I think like kind of an interesting one. I don't know how much support he got for this, but like Tyler Hero was like kind of interesting. I feel like he did improve significantly this year. Um, but yeah, I mean, I would have picked Subats. I don't, I think there was also some Norman Powell stuff. Uh, but like, I mean, we've talked about like we kind of always thought that Norman Powell like could average 20 points per game. It's just like it's not always going to be a situation for him to do it. Zubats would have been my pick. So the next award, this is one that's already out. Peyton Pritchard won Sixth Man of the Year award. Other candidates were Beasley and Ty Jerome. I know who you would have sided with, and that's who I would have sided with as well. I'm pretty sure. So who did you
Oh,
pick?
Ty Jerome.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think Ty. I mean, Peyton Pritchard definitely is a great six man. I just don't know if his impact was as needed as like maybe Ty Jerome. Like Ty Jerome really just like whenever Garland or Mitchell went out, he came in and was able to run this Cleveland offense. He could go out and score, but he also had the ability to assist and rebound. I think Pritchard was more just a shooter. Um, yeah, I like Ty Jerome.
the Sixth Man of the Year award for me, it feels like the best scorer who can't start award a lot of the time. And I feel like Beasley and Pritchard were kind of like the case of that, where it's like they really like don't have, like they really can't start on their teams. Um, and like I feel like Ty Jerome, I feel like is the best player out of all of them, and obviously he didn't have the counting stats that Pritchard and Beasley did, and a lot of that is minutes per game. I think was relatively low for Ty Jerome, but I mean just like everything for him. I mean he still averaged 12 points per game, and like 20 minutes per game. So I would have picked him. I think if anybody were to uh, like take a huge step forward with more playing time, I think it would be him because I think if Beasley and uh, Pritchard play with the starters, like they don't do anything. I didn't articulate that last point very well, but I would have picked Ty Jerome as well. Next is the clutch player of the year. I mean, the winner was Jalen Brunson.
Like that. I like that. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it's who I would have picked. So, Shout out to Jason Tatum. He didn't. Felt like he could have easily been a finalist here, but
Yeah, I like
he,
Brunson.
yeah, I feel like I would have picked Brunson as well, just because it felt like down the stretch he was scoring all the time. Coach of the year. This one hasn't been announced yet, but I have an answer. What do you have?
I like Pistons. I mean, this team literally won 14 games last year and now is 16 in the playoffs and low key competing really well with the 3 seed. I really like JB Bickerstaff here. And this is a guy who got fired for the Cavs because they couldn't get past the first or second round. So good stuff for JB.
I think that last point you brought up there is why I don't pick JB Bickerstaff because look at the Cavs now. You know, um, for me, like Kenny Atkinson took the Cavs from like I think going into the year we predicted them to make the playoffs, but like it wasn't as a top anything seed, and we didn't really think that there was a chance for them to be a top 3 to 4 seed. And yeah, they were like the best team in the East for literally from October all the way to now in May. Um, I don't see how Kenny Atkinson doesn't win this award. I think a lot of the Pistons improvement was like a good bit of it was the upgrade from Monty Williams to JB Bickerstaff, but like I can't deny the wings that they've brought in this season that have been a lot better. So I mean, I would go Kenny Atkinson. For some reason, it's just a weird thing that they don't like giving Coach of the Year to the coach of the best team. Because in some instances it's a talent disparity that leads to them being the best team. But I think like they had the same talent that they had a year ago for the most part. Kenny Atkinson's kind of the extra variable added in there. So in addition, let's see, we can't really like talk about like the teammate of the year award or like the hustle. I mean, we could do the hustle award.
Who do you think the social justice championship is going to be champion? Who would you
Uh,
pick? I
I'm
heard.
not. I'm not. What'd you say?
I think Myers Leonard's going to get it.
Oh God.
Hustle award. You know what? Let's give it to one of the Thompson twins. I guess I'm not in tune with all the hustle stats, but um,
Chris
yeah.
Dunn. I like Chris Dunn. He might not win the
Who?
Chris Dunn
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I do like that. Yeah.
because we can go through and do defensive teams. I don't know if Chris Dunn will really make an all defensive team, and I do want to have his contributions be celebrated. Um, I don't know about the social justice champion award.
When does the teams come out? Because maybe that could be like a episode in itself, predicting the.
I mean, I was gonna run through it real quickly right here.
Oh, okay. Where?
Um, but on the social justice award, I don't know. But Jason Tatum's a great dude, man. That's all I gotta say. I'm not in as deep on the social justice side of things. There's a reason I'm not voting on these things. Um, all NBA. I mean, do we want to? We don't have to do all rookie, and then we can shout out some all defensive. All NBA first team. Shea, Jokic, Tatum, Giannis, and then like I guess the common debate is like who's the fifth guy.
So Jokic, Tatum, Giannis. So you need like a guard, right? Maybe.
It's
Oh,
positionless now.
oh, it's positionless.
Yeah.
Um, damn, that's hard.
I think the hardest part of this too is knowing who's eligible.
Oh, fuck, yeah. Mm. Yeah, I don't know who's eligible. um, I'll go. Oh damn, he's not even eligible. Donovan Mitchell,
Yeah. I'm fine with Mitchell getting it.
maybe.
I wouldn't give it to Cat. Uh, if I were to select a Nick, it would be Brunson.
Yeah, but he's not eligible. That's
No,
why.
he's eligible. He's eligible.
Oh, I thought he wasn't.
Yeah, he got his last couple
I
games
think I'll
in.
go Brunson then.
Yeah. Um, I'm fine with Mitchell, Brunson. I think those look like the two guys who I would be picking between. Um, Second team, like Anthony Edwards, LeBron James, Towns, Mitchell or Brunson, and then
Sabonis.
I've seen him
Zubac.
getting some spots. Zoo,
No,
Big
no, no,
Zoo.
not Zubac.
Uh, Mobley, I kind of like Mobley getting an All NBA team.
Yeah.
Cade Cunningham could get an All NBA team. Um, like nobody's eligible. I think there's like 60 eligible players for these things. So maybe this does need to be another thing. Um, we can react to the teams when they come out. That's what we'll end up doing. Um, yeah. Do you got anything else on this one before we wrap this one up?
Not good up.
Yeah, this was a fun one. Next week I believe we'll be recapping because the first round will be over. We'll recap what happened at the end of the first round, and we'll stamp our second round predictions that I'm sure we will hate. Yeah, that'll do it for this one. We'll see you guys next week.